Do you want a more upright bowl or a more wide bowl?
Actually, a little deeper than this. I like the volume size, but yeah, actually a little deeper.
Taller?
Wider.
Okay,
Yeah.
so more a little on the taller.
Yeah. Oh.
I got centered up pretty quick. All right, so opening is nearly 5 pounds of little loafer's clay. Got a little center there. A little recentering. Okay, so if a plate takes a lot of clay, a bowl, round bottom bowl, the wider it is, even more it takes, because you have to support, even though it's coming up like this, you have to support the whole bottom, so that means a lot of clay underneath it, as opposed to a cylinder where it's just flat clay underneath. You've got this curve, lots of clay under the curve. So if you want a wider bowl, you're going to do a plate opening to get, but with leaving a curve, so it might be just more of the pushing the edge down and less of opening. But so when I open, I let my fingers sort of drift up, right, like that, drifting up, so I'm getting a rounded base. And just imagine how much clay is under that, right? There's like that much clay underneath supporting that shape, but until it starts going up, it has to have clay supporting it, all right? Especially, not any of you are using the white clay, but with this white clay, because it is floppy. Okay. So then compressing is just compressing, but don't push too hard that you push your curve down, right? So now you see I've got the curve all set up. My walls aren't going to get that high from here. It's going to be a lot of excess clay supporting the curve. Because it's not a cylinder, because I do want it to go out a little bit, I'm not going to cone it in first. And you can sort of pull, you want to make that indent. It's really, really important to make the indent with a bowl, a round bottom bowl. Because as I do this pull, I'm going to sort of be pushing here and squeezing here. And you're sort of pushing that clay that way. And that's where that lump that almost everyone gets right here comes from, because of a buttress of clay over here. So making the indent, you're pushing clay there, it gives it somewhere to go. If it doesn't have the indent, it's sort of buttress, and that's why you get that hump there. Or so says the expert that I learned this technique from. Okay, so in a bowl, your inside hand is the second one to come along, unlike the cylinder where the outside hand, right? So if you're doing it like this, doing your pulls like this, right? Your hands are skewed still. It's the outside hand that's higher. Inside hand is lower. Because you're not starting the same spot. Pressing the lip, getting the water out.
Are you moving one time so it can move from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock as you're pulling? Or did it stay?
I don't know. Watch and see. We'll see. I'm not sure. Again, I like the wooden knife indent when I'm doing a bowl, something wide, because it's just easier to reach under there rather than using my thumb. All right. Yeah, I guess I'm still going to move towards me as I pull up. It's probably not a bad idea to go back and just reset that curve. I find oftentimes when I'm doing this, I'll end up with it being curved but then straight. But then I can usually fix that and push out that curve at the corner. So far I'm keeping it curved the whole time. Again, as you can see, a lot of clay, but the bowl is not that big because of all that support it needs. Some people like to leave a thick rim on their bowls to help keep them from chipping. They're using them a lot, you know. This one's coming out nice. It's a pretty good curve in there. Alright. Still get a little bit more clay from here, I think.
It's okay. No battery.
Oh.
No, it's alright, it'll last.
I think I'm going to switch to where I'm going to squeeze a little bit more towards that indent area. Just try to get more clay up. Let's see if I ruined my curve. I narrowed it a little bit. I can push it back out. Happy with that. Now when I'm making a bowl, I look at the inside shape, right? I want to make sure the inside shape looks good because I'm going to trim the outside and make the outside match the inside with trimming. So I want the inside to look good. Feeling the thickness? I have a hard time letting that much thickness go, so I'm going to keep trying to get more clay up. It's getting quite tall, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I might stop there and just try to push it out, push the whole thing out a little bit more. So it'd be more like that bowl you were referencing. Let's see. Yeah, so right here the walls are thicker than I would leave for a cylinder, but I need that support for the shape. I did manage to keep a pretty good curve on the inside, but it has gotten feels a bit narrower. Maybe it's just because the walls are tall, but let's go ahead and try to push it out a little bit. Oops, indent, very important, so it doesn't buttress. Starting in the center, small blue rib, pushing out, moving up slowly. Watching my angle on the outside, don't want to get past 45, right? Alright, so doing that, I don't like what happened. It looks kind of flat here and then changes, so I'm going to try to fix that without destroying this. If I destroy this bowl, I'll have to trim the video. Let's see. Yeah, it's thicker there, so it didn't quite with the shape. What I'm doing is I'm pushing it back out where it seemed humped. At the same time supporting above it. It's kind of like doing a pull like this to make sure I don't just collapse it. I think I'm getting it curved back. Oh, it looks good on the outside too. Whew! Let's see, once I want to slip out, if it still looks good to me. Looks pretty good. I still see slight hump there. Let's see if I can get that better. It's very slight, but you can see it's not a really that great a curve anymore. Try back to this. Compressing the floor. I'm satisfied.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you can see it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy even for me to get it this good. Probably a little easier with the brown clay than with the white. And this will probably feel pretty heavy. This indent's still there. But you know, there's always trimming. And there's always saving your own scraps, recycling, so you don't lose a bunch of clay doing this.
Are you gonna leave the walls that thick when you trim?
I don't know. I tend to try to go thin-ish. They're not that super thick. They're like only slightly thicker than I would make a cylinder this size. Here it starts getting thicker, and I'll definitely trim that away. So, yeah, I'm happy with this. Just kind of touch and go there for a little bit. Whether I'm just going to keep the curve round. I'm just going to scrape a little slip off the outside. It's not so wet.